So we're out there flying. I just want to kind of go over like what's happening with the helicopter when we go from hovering to forward flight, and so we'll go over that just right now. So this is kind of all under translational lift, and so we have our helicopter out here. It's sitting there, we're hovering, so we're not getting any forward airspeed or anything like that. And what we have is our induced flow or downwash is coming down. It's hitting the ground here, come back up, and then back into our rotor blades. Something more like that. And then once we start pushing forward on that cyclic, we get to about 10 to 20 knots. We're getting into what's called transverse flow effect. 10 to 20 knots. And what's happening is we have an increase of airflow on the front half of the rotor disc. The back half is still kind of operating in that disturbed air or dirty air. If we take a look at a little bit of a diagram to kind of see what's going on here. So front half of the rotor disc is increasing in lift. Back half really isn't doing anything. We're not losing any lift in the back, we're just not increasing. And then this is where we get the pitch up of the nose of the helicopter during transverse flow effect. And then because of gyroscopic precession, this all for when input is applied, it is manifested 90 degrees later in the rotation. So we kind of have that increase of lift on the left side. This is where we get that transverse flow effect. So let's say we're getting ready to take off, we're coming this way, we hit about 12 knots or so. The front half of the rotor disc is more efficient. We kind of get that nose up, and then with gyroscopic precession, it moves to one side, tipping the helicopter and making us veer off course just a little bit. There's 3 ways to compensate for this. So with controls, they can, when they're manufacturing it, they can put some like pulleys and stuff in the controls to help with that. They can also put the rotor mast and tilt it back to kind of compensate. Or in the smaller aircraft like we're flying, you can put in, it's pilot compensated, so we have to put in forward cyclic to reduce the nose up and a little bit of left cyclic to reduce this roll to the right. This puts us back on course, and then we continue down. Now once we get up to about 16 to 24 knots, we get into ETL, or effective translational lift, and this is when the whole rotor system is operating in that clean air, producing lift on all 4 of those quadrants. Once we get to the point where the tail rotor here is actually operating in clean, new air, undisturbed air, we can get what's called translational thrust. And so the idea is that the tail rotor back here is operating in dirty, disturbed air. We're pulling power, so we have to add some left pedal. Once the tail rotor enters undisturbed or clean air, it's more efficient, and therefore we don't need as much anti-torque. So that is when we add a little bit of right pedal as we're taking off. This kind of concludes this lesson. Do you have any questions?